Hi everyone, I'm going to go through the math component for project 2 of how to make life better. So in this project, you're going to be creating, designing, testing, and then pitching a product or service, all right, to make life better. And you get to decide what you want this to look like. For the math component, there are 3 criteria, okay, or 3 things to complete. The first is collection of data. So you're collecting data, then you're displaying your data, and then you are analyzing it. And this information is from the integrated rubric, which we have created. And there is a link to that on the slideshow that I'm going through right now. I will include that in the Google post, Google Classroom post. So this is all everything that you have to cover for your project, and the math component is over here, and that's what I'm going through right now with the marking scheme on the side. So in more detail, the first thing that you need to do is think about data. All right, you're going to be collecting this data either at the start, okay, of your project or at the end. If you decide to collect the data at the start, you may do that to help guide you in developing your prototype or service design. For example, you could say we created a questionnaire and discovered there was a relationship between these 2 variables, and therefore there is a need for this product. All right, or you may decide to collect the data at the end using your prototype or service design. So make sure that using your prototype, you design and carry out an investigation experiment involving a potential relationship between 2 variables. You may also choose to use data you found through a credible source. Provide a link to the source. You may also choose to collect your data through a questionnaire. All right, so you may choose to do that. When you've collected your data, make sure that you're explaining your experiment or data that you've collected, and you want to include a hypothesis. One of the other things that you're going to do today is watch, or not watch, go through a slideshow that has been made by our teacher librarian, Mrs. Pelman Webb, and she goes through and explains what it means to collect credible data and how to look for a credible source for that data. You'll be working on that today through that slideshow. So creating a hypothesis, you did some of this in science already, but what I'm asking you to do is to write a hypothesis for your experiment or for the data that you're going to be collecting, and it should be written in the form if ... then ... statement. Okay, so for example, if salt is added to water that is being heated, then the water will boil at a faster rate. Okay, so this would be used if you are running an experiment and you needed to have a hypothesis first. The second thing that you're doing with your data, so once you've collected it, you're going to be displaying it in a scatter plot, and I like you to do this digitally using a Google Sheet. So I've created a video which is linked here, and it's also in Google Classroom of how to do that, right? You're going to paste your data into a Google Sheet and then highlight it and then create a scatter plot and a line of best fit. The line of best fit will be in the form y equals mx plus b, and we've talked about this in class where the m stands for the slope and the b stands for the y-intercept. I'd like you to explain the m, the rate of change, and the b, values that you get in your equation, and how does that relate to the problem, right? What is the value m that you get in your equation? What does it actually mean? How does it relate to your data that you've collected? And same with the y-intercept. And then the last thing that you're doing is you want to analyze your data. All right, so in your analysis, you are going to describe the trends and the correlation, all right, and the difference between them. And we covered this in class. Observed in the data, if any, you might not have a correlation or a trend, and make inferences from data using interpolation and extrapolation. Is the outcome consistent with your hypothesis? So did it turn out the way you were expecting? And then you may have some outliers in your data, so explain and identify those. And then at the end, I'd like you to reflect on if you did the experiment again, how would you change it? Okay, to examine other relationships. And so those are the 3 items that you need to cover for the math component. The way you're going to show me what you've done is you're going to create a tab on the website that you're creating. So for the English component of this project, you're creating a website where you're adding all the information. One of those tabs should be for math, and you can add all the information on that tab for me to look at. All right, good luck with the rest of your work today. The next video that you should watch is this video here on how to create a scatter plot and align a best fit in a Google Sheets. And then after that, you are going to look at this slideshow here that was made by Miss Pelman Webb. And she goes through how to collect data from a credible source. There are some parts in the slideshow for you to fill out. And then I made a copy for everyone. So everybody has their own copy. Nobody is going to see your answers except for myself and Miss Pelman Webb and the other STEM teachers. You're going to submit this once you're done that. All right, that is your work for today. Good luck. Send me an email if you have any questions.